worked out with the new company that we're using for our beach badges this year, and with all petitions and all the people that talked to us at the last meeting, we are going back to the season beach badge for disabled for $30, same as it always was. We finally were able to work it out, and so that we can do that. And I didn't want to wait till next meeting to put it on so that we could start it tomorrow. And everybody that has, anybody that has already paid for a season badge, we're going to get them reimbursed. So we want to start it tomorrow. So, you know, I know it's a last minute resolution, a last ad, but it just worked out this morning. So if anybody has any questions on that.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Brennan.
I just wanted to say thank you. I'm thrilled that this is happening. This is, you know, I really appreciate all your efforts and Councilwoman Wan's efforts too, to make this happen. You know, the community expressed a need, and, you know, with our first answer, there was some concerns. So I think the way you're handling this is really very well done, and I really appreciate it on the behalf of the residents who have expressed their concerns. So thank you.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that spoke at the last meeting that, you know, you really take into consideration things that we didn't think about, you know, standing in line for badges or, you know, not waiting to go on the beach. So, you know, we're just going to go back to the way it was. And thankfully, we had Bridget Judas work it out with the company so that we could put this back in place. So it's on tonight. I know it wasn't listed to the agenda. You know, we always get hammered for last minute resolutions, but I thought it was that important to put it on so we could start it tomorrow and get these people reimbursed. The other thing I want to bring up is there's been a lot of emails back and forth on all of our summer programs. You know, the junior lifeguards and the camp that we run, summer camp. And we are still in the midst of this pandemic. We still have to deal with what the governor's, all the governor's emergency orders that come out. So, and we're watching it very close, but I just want to let everybody know that we definitely want to get back to where we were. And hopefully, as we're coming into April and May, there could be some changes from the governor before we try to put things in place. Because if we put things in place right now, it's going to be very, very limited to what we could do. And if we come into April or May, I think that, and we have to have limited programs so that we conform to what the governor has. I think that there'll be some of the residents that won't be able to get in, would be, you know, still upset. But I think that as we go through a couple more months, we're going to see what the governor comes out with. But believe me, we want to get these programs up and running for our kids, and we're looking at everything that we can possibly do to get some of these all these programs up for the summer. So we're conscious of what's going on, and we're just waiting for some direction as this pandemic moves forward and as the vaccines come out, and see where we're going to be at in April or May to make our adjustments to where we need to make them before we set everything up. So, and I know we've had a lot of emails. I think we had a petition come in April. No, not on that. But I know there's a lot of emails back and forth on that. So I just wanted to bring that up so we bring everybody up to speed on the council that we, if we were able to do it, we certainly are going to do it. So, and the other resolution that we have, I know there's resolution 2163 with appointing the members of the planning board. They were already on the planning board. After talking to Doug Koufax, our planning board attorney, we just had to switch two of the members around. One was Mike Campbell, the other one, Bill Lindsay. They were put in a wrong class. So that resolution 2163 is on for tonight. So, but they were already on the planning board, so we're just switching their classes. And I think that's all that we got on the resolution. Anybody have any questions for workshop before we move on? Okay, everybody good with everything? All right. So we'll move on, April. Somebody has, oh, Pat?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mark, wasn't unmuted. I just have a question about 63, about the resolution 63. Perhaps you can explain what it means, what this resolution means and how you're changing their designation.
It was brought to our attention that because the planning board has different classes through a state law of different classes of people, whether they're residents, borough employees, and so it was brought to our attention that Mike Campbell, it was in the wrong class of a member. So we talked to Doug Kovacs on the planning board. And he just said, you know, if you switch to 2 classes, you're fine. So we talked to Bill Lindsay. We switched him into, what is it, April, class 4?
Yes.
Yeah, we switched him to the class 4 and just switched Mike Campbell to
The class 1, the mayor's designee.
yeah, class 1. So that's all set by state statute. So it was brought to our attention and then straighten that out. You know, we talked to him and so we're making that change tonight. It's not that we're adding planning board members, but we're just switching their classes. So
Thank you, Mayor.
anyone else? All right, moving on. April, petitions.
Yes, I received 1 petition from Nicole Pica regarding reinstating reduced season badges for disabled people.
Okay. And we're doing that tonight. All right, and we're going approval of minutes.
Can I have a motion to approve the February 2nd, 2021 minutes?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, reports of council. Councilman Carvelli.
Thank you, Mayor. It's another light week for my report. The planning board didn't have any applications, so that meeting was canceled last Monday. The finance committee, that also has not met since our last meeting. And the BVP, they're still on pause, but we do have some informal conversations that are ongoing. So yeah, as far as anything from me, there's not much to report. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman McCracken.
Thank you, Mayor. The Housing Authority's next meeting is the first Monday in March. I actually think this year it's March 1st. So that meeting will be held virtually at 5:15. And the Shade Tree Commission meets virtually tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. So no report from the Shade Tree, but at our next council meeting, I'll have a report about that meeting. I think we should also bring up, Mayor, that just, remind all of our residents that there is no St. Patrick's Day Parade this year in Belmar, regrettably. But our job as a council is to make sure that we keep our residents in our community as safe as possible. I do know that a lot of residents are planning to keep, quote unquote, the tradition going on what has historically been Parade Day. And I just think, we need to remind everybody that there is a global pandemic going on. People are losing their lives from it. Although over 1 million people in New Jersey have received the first dose of vaccination, and the number of hospitalizations and the trends are going down, we're not there yet. We're not in an environment where, this is certainly behind us. So, just remind all of our residents, if you're planning something to commemorate what has historically been Parade Day in Belmar, follow all state and federal guidelines, be safe, don't have large gatherings, and please remember that we're in the middle of a pandemic, and we don't want any events to be held in town that would be known as super spreader events, where we're putting the lives of our citizens in danger. So just remind that everybody. I know we have another meeting before the parade, before what would have been parade day, but you know, I hear people are starting to think about that now, and we really need to exercise caution and be very careful.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to echo Councilman McCracken's comments. I mean, if the Belmar St. Patrick's Parade, what turned into a super spreader event, that would be a bad thing, and it wouldn't end this year. So really, follow Mr. McCracken's advice, and you know, just be smart. Be smart. We've made it this far. You just got to keep toughing it out till enough people have had their shots and the numbers have gone down. They're going down. It's all very encouraging, but we're not there yet. Okay, the rest of my report, the Environmental Commission had a meeting last week on Thursday. They are still they're presenting the environmental resource inventory to the planning board, and they're looking to set up a chance to show the same thing that they showed the mayor and council to do the zoning board as well, just so everybody's familiar with the document and everybody who needs to be able to use it knows where it is. That's all very encouraging. And I guess the only other thing I wanted to say is happy Mardi Gras. I mean, there's no parades in New Orleans either. They're not having any parades, but I will say, and I'm very impressed, the people in Belmar are doing the same kind of thing that the people in New Orleans are doing. They're because they have no floats to decorate, they've decorated their houses all over the city, hundreds and hundreds of houses. They're calling it Yardi Gras, and some of the stuff is really quite amazing, very creative, very artistic. And I like how some of the residents of Belmar, some of the businesses are trying to organize a COVID compliant kind of St. Patrick's Day event to go inside with when the parade would actually be. And I really think I like the effort. I like the effort that people are making to try to have things be as normal as possible, even when they can't be. It's a really good sign. And I think next year is going to be a completely different story. All right, so that's my report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Let's pray. Let's pray, Tom. It's a different story next year. Council President Juan.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to thank you and Tom Brennan, Bridget, everybody who worked hard to get these beach badges for the disabled back. I hope everybody's happy. I know everybody worked hard on this, and I'm sure it'll be a success this summer. Thank you very much. My ADA meeting is coming up on the 25th of this month. Also, I have a scooter available if you have foot surgery, and you know the scooter where you put your foot up and you can scoot around. I have one available if anybody's having foot surgery. You can borrow it. So just contact me at my email from the town. And that's about it for me. Again, rec, as the mayor had said, nothing happening right now, but we're looking forward to the kids at least will be able to play tennis this summer. We're going to do the tennis courts over. They'll have an outlet to play tennis. The basketball courts are ready, so at least we have that. As far as the beach, like the mayor said, we have to comply with the governor, and hopefully by the summer things will get better and we can open up and get back to some kind of normal, whatever that's going to be. And that's it. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you. Just a couple things I have. I mean, DPW, we've been, as everybody knows, we've been having snow, ice storms and everything. DPW's been doing a great job getting everything cleaned up. We got another one coming Thursday, it looks like. But they've been out there working hard, trying to keep everything cleaned up. And the other thing DPW is doing is they have 2 of the awnings done down at the marina. So if anybody drives through, they can take a look at the new awnings. And we're doing it in-house to save a lot of money. And they did a great job on the first 2, and they're working on the next couple. So hopefully by summer, we'll have all 11 done. Yeah, it's going to really spruce up the marina a little bit, because those awnings that were down there were had holes in them and were really falling apart. So that'll make the marina look nice. Other than that, I attended the library meeting, and I know Lewis wants to come and talk about what the new protocols are for the blind for the library. He's got some exciting news to tell everybody about things that he has set up with the state for Braille reading and the sight impaired people. So he's going to be getting that out, and hopefully we can get that out all over town. Fred, I think one of these meetings, he's going to come and explain everything. But, the library is doing a lot of great things. And if you can go online and get one of their library cards, it's just not a library card for getting books or anything like that. It's the whole, between everything that they have to offer with those library cards. And I think you can get them online. You just have to go online to the Belmar Library and sign up for one of those library cards. But they got so many great things. And I know he talked about even with the high school students that have prep work to do for SATs, they have that free online. So he's getting that out to all the high school kids, and the library's doing a lot of nice things during this pandemic. So if anybody can go on and check and see what they got, and Lewis will be giving us an update shortly. But other than that, I think that's all we have. Ed, are I going to bring anything else up?
That's it.
I think that's it. There's always so much going on, but so that's my report. All right, April, we'll move on to public session on the resolution items.
Please remember that this is on the resolutions only, and please state your name and address before speaking.
Okay, stand by. And coming to Mr. Eugene Kramer, stand by, please. Go ahead, sir.
Eugene Creamer, 4th Avenue.
Hi, Mr. Kramer.
Yeah, good evening. On the resolution agenda there, there's a resolution granting Monmouth County the right to do aerial mosquito control. Can you give us some idea of what the scope of that would be? Would it be helicopters, drones, what have you? I know that I guess about every year we have a similar resolution, but I've never gotten any notification, and quite truthfully, I've never seen any aerial application here.
Yeah, Mr. Kramer, I think we do this every year, and it's a county-wide program. And probably why we don't see the helicopter coming and spraying in Belmar is because probably we're at a low risk of the mosquitoes. I guess that, some of these towns in Monmouth County have a higher risk than we do, but it's just that we're part of the Monmouth County, and I guess if we do have we do have a problem. They have truck mounted spraying, and I think they do have helicopter spraying.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know there's other locations that it would be practical. I guess if there was any application to take place in Belmar, I guess they're supposed to notify the police department. Would we get a code red message if that was to occur?
Yeah, I don't ever remember them notifying us that they were coming in to do any kind of spraying, but I'd have to ask the chief, and I'm not sure she would know that. But if we did get any kind of notification that they were coming in, that'd probably be a really great idea to put it out in a code red so everybody knows it. So we'll put that on her list if she sees that, if she's getting notified that they're coming in, we'll try to make sure we get everybody notified that they are.
Yeah, okay. I just want to say I do appreciate those emergency communication notifications. And, whether it's Public Works flushing water lines or road closures, I find those very useful. I do have one comment to make, though, and I think a change has to be made. It has to be updated, the code red messages. There's a voice prompt that says, at the end of each message, it says to press any button to repeat the message. Can we have that voice prompt change to a different voice? Perhaps the police chief or one of the dispatchers.
Okay, yeah, we'll look into it. I'm not sure what the voice is, but we'll take a look and see if we can put it to somebody else.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Mr. Kramer.
Thank you very much. I've also made that note. One moment. Going to Sherry, please stand by. And go ahead.
Sherry Russo, 1218 Briarwood Road in Belmar. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Okay. Would this be the time to ask about the petition that you just spoke of, or is that at a different time? I was unsure.
Well, we do have a resolution that's going on. So yeah, you could speak that. No, that was about the beach badges. Yeah. So you can speak about that. Sure.
Speak about that now.
Sure, go ahead.
My confusion on that with what you said, I just caught you quickly there, I guess, while I was writing down. Will the beach badges be going back to a fee?
It's going to be just as we always done it. It's a $30 fee for a season beach badge.
All right, $30 fee.
Just as we always have over all the years. It's going to be the exact same way this year.
Right, and this year you could buy that badge online and at Borough Hall both, is that correct?
No, you got to come into Borough Hall.
Oh, only at
We're going to
Borough
do it manually now. So just like years past, just come into Borough Hall and
Right.
We'll do it manually.
All right, I wasn't sure if something changed due to the rest of it. Did the rest of it staying, you could buy either way, right? The rest of it staying where I could buy a seasonal beach badge online and at Borough Hall, right?
Right, correct.
Okay, I was just a little confused on what you said. Okay, that was my question for right now. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. And one moment, going to Nicole. Pika, stand by.
Hi, it's Nicole Peak at 302 9th Avenue.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you turn down your volume, please, on your speakers, please, Nicole?
It's off. It's off.
Let me turn it off. All right, is that better?
Yes, that's better.
All right. So
We had
first
a-
I
we
want
had
to
a horrible
thank
echo.
Tom and Pat and Ed for helping me get this done with the beach badges.
Sorry, I lost her. 1 second. Sorry, Nicole, I lost you. Can you go ahead again, please? 1 second. Nicole, are you there? Hold on. Going slow with Zoom. Stand by. Nicole, can you unmute yourself? One moment. Nicole, are you there? Can you unmute yourself, please? Okay, Nicole, you can raise your hand again. We're going to go back around. I'll put you in rotation, and we'll try to find you again after Oh, we lost another hand of another Nicole. Hold on, please.
Hear me?
Oh, there she is. Hello.
There we
Lost
go.
you
Now
there.
we
There
got you.
go. Good job. Thank you. You can go ahead, please. Sorry.
Did everybody hear my thank you? Did you get that?
No, we
Right,
lost
okay.
you before that.
My question is, if people don't want to buy a season and they're going to come as a disabled person for a daily, are they going to be given a discount?
No,
and
they
what
only
was
get the
the
discount on the season badges, just as we always done.
But what if they're not coming for the season? What if they're coming for the day? Veterans and military are getting on for free. What are we doing for the disabled that necessarily don't live here or don't come every single day or, come for the weekend? Are they being
Well,
given any sort of in the
We,
military?
we listened to all the issues that going to the booth wasn't an option. So we went back to the way we always did it with the season badges. So then so we're going to do it exactly the same as last year.
Right. It wasn't an
years
option
prior.
though, if you were doing it. It wasn't.
Yeah, but
an option
listening to
if you were
everybody
doing it
that
every day.
it was an
Meaning you
issue
were
for everybody going to
local
the
or You
booth.
were a resident and you were going.
But we listened to all the problems of going to the booth. So that's why we're doing it this way, so that they get a season beach badge. They don't have to go to the booth. They can just go right onto the beach. And that's how we're going to do it, just the same as all the summers in the past. I think we lost her again, John.
We lost her again. Yep. Okay. Oh, she's back up. Stand by. Try again.
I'm back. It's
Oh, you're
just-
back. Go ahead.
I didn't hear what you said, Mayor.
No, I said we're going to do it the same as all the other years in the past, because we listened to everybody about the issues, and we didn't, and myself and everybody didn't think about these issues about the disabled cannot stand in lines. They cannot go to the booth every time they want to go to the beach. So we're cutting that option out, and it's just going to be a season beach badge. This way they get the season beach badge for the reduced rate, and then they could just walk right onto the beach. And
Okay.
so we're going back to exactly the way we did it. It worked out in years past. We had a glitch with the company when we switched over. We worked it out with the company so that we could get the reduced rate badges back, because, listening to everybody at the last meeting, there was a lot of different things that came up that I didn't think about, and a lot of the council people didn't think about, and our administrative staff didn't think about, and we talked about it. So we said, we got to work really hard to get back to where we were and make sure that this works. So that's what we did.
All right. Austin, very much appreciated. Thank you all for your help.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much. Okay. Seeing no more hands.
I have a motion to close the public session.
Motion.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I have a motion to approve the resolutions as listed on the consent agenda?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
Okay. Councilman Juan,
Yes.
Councilman Carvelli,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McCracken,
Yes.
Mayor Walsifer.
Yes.
And then can I have a motion to approve the resolution we just added, which would be 2021-64, setting the fee for disabled badges?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Juan,
Yes.
Councilman McCracken,
Yes.
Councilman Carvelli,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Mayor Walsifer.
Yes.
That's it.
We don't have any,
No.
we're going on to public session.
Okay, before we open it up to those here by Zoom, I did receive an email with questions to be read. It is from Anita Pecorelli of 104 First Avenue. First question is for Chief Scott. She states, I understand that Brandel and Belmar Bagel were broken into. Here in my apartment complex, a car was broken into, and I heard a secondhand there were cars on 9th Avenue this happened to. Is there an update on any of these activities that you can tell us? Also, can we get a reporting of police-involved events at the council meetings in the future?
Good evening, everyone. As far as the burglaries at Brandel's and the Bagel shop, our detectives were called out. Both businesses were entered through unsecure window and or door. It is under investigation by the Detective Bureau right now, so I can't give out any further information. We do not have any suspects at this time. As far as the question on the car burglaries, none of these vehicles that have been entered, we had a handful of vehicles entered back in January. None of the vehicles were locked. There was no forced entry, obviously, because they weren't locked to the vehicles. So the suspect entered the vehicles and looked for, loose change or anything of value. Most of these are crimes of opportunity. So we have to encourage the community and the residents to make sure that you are securing your vehicles at night, not leaving any valuable items in the car, such as purses, laptops, or anything like that. Make sure that you're taking those in your homes and securing your vehicles at night. There is an ongoing investigation on the thefts from the motor vehicles, and we did have an individual that was arrested and was linked to several of them. But again, this is also an ongoing investigation, so that is all the information I can give at this time. As far as reporting to the mayor and council during the council meetings, I think that it would be good if there's any significant police events or activities that are happening in town. We also go to social media and the community policing emails. I encourage, the officers, if there's anything going on that they see or hear or take reports of, that we're getting it out, such as the car burglaries. We ended up putting out a message on Facebook and through the community policing emails. And we also continue to do that when we hear about the scams. There's a lot of phone and computer scams. We've been putting out that information that way as well. But I can certainly, every 2 weeks, if there's any significant information that needs to go out to the public, as far as, if we're having the car burglaries or, the businesses, we can definitely get that information out to you.
Thank you.
Hey, Chief,
Yes.
this is Jim McCracken. I just have a question. And I realize that social media is really the best, probably, and most efficient way to do it, if there's an immediate concern, as well as, code red announcements and things like that. But, the Coast Star has that police blotter, the weekly paper that comes out. And sometimes the towns put in a report, and sometimes it says no report submitted. I was just curious. I've never asked anybody, like how does that work? Those do they submit a request for a report and then we respond, or is it sort of like an automatic thing?
It's an automatic thing. It goes out monthly. If there are any reports that need to go out, the secretary will put a report together and put that information out. Some of the information can't go out due to ongoing investigations. So everything's looked over and it's sent to, the Coast Star, the Asbury Park Press, for their blotters.
Thanks. I was just curious. I wasn't sure exactly how that system worked. Thanks.
No problem. You're welcome.
Her second question was, do you intend on, to the council, do you intend on leaving the plywood up on the beach playgrounds where the pirate ships were?
We are currently working on getting playground equipment to replace the pirate ships right now. We're in negotiations with a company right now for pirate ships that are made out of recycled materials, sort of like what's on the board, the composite materials, so that they. All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. We're working with the company right now in negotiations for pirate ships that are made out of composite materials, sort of like what's on the boardwalk. So hopefully before summer starts, we will have the playgrounds up and running with the new equipment and the plywood down.
Okay, and her last question, I think you've already answered. Is there any discussion about bringing back junior lifeguard, summer camp, and SERP camp?
Again, like I said at the top of the meeting, we're paying close attention with what the changes are coming out of the governor's office, and we'll have those decisions late April, early May. Is that the last one?
That was it.
Okay.
Now we can move on
Okay.
to those that have raised their hands.
All right. Stand by. Gerald, coming to you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Jerry Buckafusco, 409 Fifth Avenue. I just have a few questions on the notice for the EMS proposal. I was looking through some of the materials, and I just was curious if it's going to be a problem. The fact that the notice went in the paper only 14 days before the submission deadline, because the statute says it should be at least 20 days before the submission deadline. So is that going to be a problem?
Well, we've already reached out to and been in the good in talking stages with most of the companies, and we're trying to have a direction in place by March 1st. So I know it's a little short, but they've been we've been in talks with them already, not about what the amounts they would charge us, but explained what we needed. And so even though it's a short notice, they're all aware of it, and they're putting their packets together. They have ample time to do that because we wanted some type of solid direction by March 1st.
So you don't think that's going to be a problem?
No, I don't think so.
The other question I had is kind of related to that. It says that the notice should also state the time and place for receiving and opening the proposals. So my question is, on February 22nd at 10 a.m., are the proposals going to be opened on that day?
Yes.
Yes, that was in the packet. Yes.
I think it's the 26th, isn't it, Mayor? Not the
I'm sorry, the
26th.
26th.
26. Oh, 26.
I was wrong,
Okay.
26. That
Yes.
leads me to my next question. The regulations say, is this something that, let me go back. Is this something that the public will be able to attend in person, the opening?
Is that a public open? I'm not sure. Hold on one second. Is that April?
Go ahead, Jerry.
Mayor, I don't think there's anything wrong with that other than COVID. I mean, I don't know how you're going to do that. I don't think we're going to be able to do it online. Once they're open, they're public knowledge. So, but I don't know how many people can get into the room or how you're going to do it. So.
No, because
Well, if we open them all up, we could probably just put them right up on the website.
Right.
Well, I'm kind of leading with that question because the regulations say that if, it cannot be open to in-person attendance, and it refers to public health reasons during a state of emergency declared by the governor, then the town has the option of broadcasting the proposal opening live at your facility. And for that to happen, it says also that the advertisement for the proposals should include explicit instructions on how the public can remotely access the opening. Okay, along with the statement that in-person attendance is prohibited due to public health related restrictions on public gatherings due to a declared state of emergency. The bottom line is, will we be getting a notice that the opening will be visible via Zoom, for example, on February 26th?
Well, I'll talk to our social media director. We could always put it Facebook Live or something.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay, because I think that would help everyone become part of the process. I had one other question on that, and that will be actually two. Is there going to be, who's going to be administering the bid? Is it going to be looked at by a committee, or is it going to be just one person? I think they leave it up to, it could either be the purchasing agent, or the administrator or legal counsel. Do you know yet who is going to be administering the bid?
Well, I'm sure the borough clerk will be the one opening, and then it goes to the administrator, and then there'll be, I'm sure we have Ryan D'Elia, who is one of our administrators for public safety, Tina Scott. So I'm sure it'll be talked about with a few people to see what kind of direction we're going to go in.
Okay, and can anyone explain, in the proposal, it said, talking about different considerations, right after financial support, it says, including any fuel costs required from the borough in order to ensure soft billing. Can anyone describe, I'm sure a lot of people don't understand the difference between soft billing and hard billing, and what their reference to fuel costs is?
Well, the borough gets a better rate than the public on fuel. So I think that was put in there that if it makes a difference on the rate, if we supply the fuel for them, compared to them going to, regular gas station to fuel up. So I think that was put in for that type of consideration, whether they want to exercise that or not.
But I was really focusing more on the soft billing. What does that mean?
Mr. Buckley, that means like net billing, so gross amount versus credit because they're getting the gas without having to pay all the taxes.
Doesn't the soft billing mean that the EMS organization will just accept what the either Medicare or the insurance company will give to them and not seek any further reimbursement from the user?
I thought it was two different things we're talking about. The fuel price, you said, the fuel soft billing, or the soft, is it two separate items?
I'm only referring to what was printed in the notice, Mr. Mayor. It says, including any fuel costs required from the borough in order to ensure soft billing. So I'm kind of wondering how those two things are related.
Mr. Dasty, you have an answer for that?
Well, again, I think you just said fuel costs. So the fuel cost, the soft billing. I'm sorry.
I think you need to look at the notice.
I'm looking at it.
And it says, including any, talking about financial support, and the financial support will be including any fuel costs required from the borough in order to ensure soft billing. So the notice makes a connection between the fuel costs and the soft billing. That's the only reason why I'm bringing it up, because I would like, first of all, understand what soft billing is and how the fuel costs are related to that soft billing. I mean, if you don't know, you don't know. I mean,
no, just a moment, sir. Are you saying you're referring to the notice to providers that was published in the paper?
Yes. As published in the Asbury Park Press on February 12th.
Well, I'm going to have to get back to you tomorrow about it because I don't see it on my one in my file.
And it's actually the one also on the website, on the town website.
Well, the definition of soft billing, I've given to you. I think it, and I don't want to speak for the mayor and the council, I think it's going to be their decision not to have fuel purchased from the town. So a lot of that might be academic, but if you give me till tomorrow morning, I'll email you or talk to you about it.
Okay, because I actually think the fuel cost is really just a kind of like an aside issue. I mean, the soft billing is more of what I was trying to get at, what the difference is between soft billing and hard billing for an EMS services.
All right.
Forget about the fuel costs.
Yeah, I mean, isn't soft billing like you put the bill in, but what the insurance company gets you is?
Yeah, I mean,
you're the people who wrote the notice and put out the request.
Well, that's one of the things that we're going to make sure that doesn't happen, that the balance billing is not going to happen for Belmar or Lake Como.
Because I looked through the actual request for proposal document very quickly, I'll admit, and I did not see anything about soft billing. It looked to me, again, very quickly that people will just be charged for for the service. But I won't stand on that because I haven't really reviewed it 100%. But that was the only point I was trying to make there. I have one other comment though, and this just relates to the water tank issue. Again, I'm trying to look prospectively. I know that from some of the research I did, the last notice of violation the town got on that for the painting was on May 15th, 2017. And what I would like to find out is what is this administration's plan on getting the fuel tank painted? Because obviously the prior administration, you know, for 19 months did nothing and it wasn't painted. And now you're in the office for 26 months and it still hasn't been painted. So what do we have to do to resolve this issue once and for all?
I'm sure you're talking about the water tank, and our attorney's going to tell me that I can't talk about it, so.
No. This is just, I want to know what the council is prepared to do to get it painted. I'm not worried about what happened in the past. What's the resolution of this issue? So 19 months from now, we're not sitting here saying, oh, the water tank has to be painted.
Mr. Bocafusco, I don't think the council has decided yet when it's going to get painted, although they obviously have a mandate from the DEP. And the reason is we're still accumulating all this information about what did or didn't happen or what should or should not have happened. And we're going to be consulting with the DCA. The water tank hasn't been built for a long time, or hasn't been painted for a while. I'm sure it'll get painted in a relatively near future, but I don't think we can give us, I mean, Eddie, the administrator can correct me, obviously. I don't think we have a date certain yet until we have an opportunity to speak to DCA and the DEP and get it finalized. But it's on the list.
With all due respect, Mr. Dasty, I fail to see the connection between whatever you do about what happened in the past and whatever the council decides to do in the future. I mean, if the council has the money to paint the tank, that has actually no connection with what happened in the past, right? They're two separate issues.
That's the issue. If we had the money, that's the issue.
Okay, well, I just was looking at a spreadsheet and you collected approximately $250,000 in 2020 on your multiple unit charge to the water through the water utility. So my suggestion is maybe get some quotes, find out how much it's going to cost, and perhaps use that money to paint the tank. So we're not sitting here 2 years from now saying the tank hasn't gotten painted. That's the only point I'm trying to make, is what is the council going to do to resolve this violation that's been hanging out there for almost 4 years?
All right. Thank you for your comment.
You're welcome.
Thank you. One moment. Coming to Linda Sharkus, standby. Go ahead.
Evening.
Hi, Linda.
Sharkus, 4th Avenue. Hello, Mr. Mayor. With the storm coming up again tomorrow, I would like to understand, are the people who don't move their cars off the street per your multiple requests getting tickets? And those that aren't shoveling the sidewalk, are they getting tickets? It's really unsafe. I have a dog. We try to walk a mile a day. And unfortunately, even after the snow stops, many of these sidewalks aren't cleared. So, I'm not sure, maybe we need a program for the elderly to assist them on shoveling the walks. But when you see young people living in the houses that can't get out and shovel, that's really pathetic. So
I know code enforcement and the police department have been out there. I know it was like 85 summonses given at the last storm. So,
well, appreciate it, because it's really risky. And some of the streets that aren't done, for instance, around the bend on Inlet Terrace, going into 3rd Avenue, it's a blind turn. So it behooves those people to do their sidewalk, because walking on the street is very unsafe. So I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And coming to Sherry, standby. Go ahead.
Sherry Russo, 1218 Briarwood Road in Belmar. My first question is for Chief Scott. Can you hear me? Yes?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I want to tell you, I think that the Belmar Police Department does an amazing job. I think that you're all wonderful. My question is, how many days after a storm would it be okay to be issued a ticket?
As far for snow removal?
For snow removal, the ticket was issued many days after the storm, and that was a little bit confusing to me. I thought by then you could put your car back on the road.
The summonses that were issued to the vehicles were the vehicles that were not dug out from the snow. The snow actually didn't stop until, I believe, Tuesday night into Wednesday, and it's 12 hours from then. So we actually, it was an extra day we gave people to remove the snow and remove their cars from the streets before we issued any summonses.
Do you know what date that was? I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me.
I believe the storm was Sunday into Monday, and it continued to almost Wednesday, and I believe, or Tuesday evening, I believe it was that Thursday or Friday that the summonses were issued.
I see, okay. All right, and, oh, are we still there? Sorry. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry, my bad, I clicked on the wrong button. Okay, and my other question, I'm not sure if this is for Chief Scott or just for the council. If somebody has a business and plows all their snow into the sidewalk, are they ever then made to clean it? On 16th Avenue near the like skateboard park kind of, there was a business, I believe, there that when they plowed, they seem to have pushed the snow across the street, and it has covered the whole sidewalk. So when you walk down 16th, you then have to walk out into the road. Like, it is a huge amount of snow. Like, it isn't even something that like I could just carry my shovel down the street and dig it out. It was like the business pushed all the snow, and the snow's probably up to my waist. It looks like in the shape of a snow plow. I just want to call to attention that I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming they got a summons with the 85 summonses that were given out, but I'm not sure. Like, everybody that walks there, we walked the other day. I didn't walk today. Today, I just sat in the backyard, even though it was beautiful out. But when we walked the other day, like, everybody's stepping out into 16th Avenue because that's so high of a snow. I don't know if the ordinance then ever makes you shovel it or like do something about it. I don't know what's to be done about that.
I don't know if that falls under the ordinance, but I can certainly speak to the business owner so that doesn't happen in the future.
All right.
Ms. Russo, the ordinance requires, the law requires that all commercial users have to have their sidewalks cleaned. Now, I don't know how
But
that would do.
it's not their sidewalk. It's actually Dempsey Park sidewalk that they're
right
pushing the snow onto.
Well, then you got to prove who did that. I mean, anyway.
Well, I mean,
stop by and speak to them.
Yeah, you can see, Mr. Dasty, that, you know, it's coming straight from the business's driveway. I mean, it's, you know, fairly clear to look at. I don't know if you drive down 16th or not in your travels.
That's certainly something they should not be allowed to do, and Chief Scott will
Yeah.
be talking to them.
Okay, yeah, wonderful. I'm sure that that was just a accidental overlooking, I'm sure. And a couple of other comments I have, not for Chief Scott, just for mayor and council in general. Upon talking about all this money that we plan on spending on EMS, I just feel it is very unfortunate. That means we could have saved our own EMS. And I think that is just, you know, horrific once again. I just wanted to bring that point up. Also with Mike Campbell, as he's being changed around to different classes on the planning board, I understand by the law that that is okay. However, do you know, he's no longer head of DPW because of a situation that happened with a disabled person. Do you know, and here we have putting him on boards, a planning board, and changing classes around to see that we could fit him in. And I think that's kind of despicable there, you know? I mean, we have a problem with disability badges. We have a problem, you know, it's okay when somebody treats a disabled person badly. We reward him with moving around classes for a planning board. I think that's, you know, not very great. And my other comment I wanted to make was on the kids' camp. Do you know, schools are open. Do you know, we could figure out how to open schools in Belmar. But, and also, you know, I understand that you say it is because of, you know, state and federal ordinances, yet other cities and towns in New Jersey are working on their kids' camps. And instead of us running into a situation like we did with disability badges, where we're voting on something in 2021 that we should have voted on in 2020, perhaps it would be wonderful to plan the kids' camp availability ahead of time. I'm sure, you know, as you know, I don't have children, but as you know, people with children need to make plans ahead of time. And what a price difference, you know, for a middle-class family to have their kids going to camp in Belmar instead of spending money to go spending more money to go elsewhere. And I believe for camps, you have to have that situated ahead of time. So I just wanted to address my few comments on that. And I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. One moment. Coming to Antoinette. Go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, name and address, please.
Antoinette Rossi, 309 3rd Avenue in Belmar. Okay, so I want to thank Sherry for bringing up the Belmar camp. I know that you touched on it, but I want to wait till we have an answer, because how are all surrounding towns already having camp and we're not? So I know that you're just saying, okay, thank you, but I want to hear an answer. And if everybody, I'm speaking on behalf of all the moms in the town, PTO, business.
Well, I'll tell you this, Antoinette, if you want an
Yeah.
answer from me, if we follow the governor's guidelines for the camp, we have to have a
But
medical
didn't he
director.
lift the restrictions?
No, he has not lifted restrictions yet.
Oh,
We would have a very limited number of kids at different
Mm-hmm.
times. We need about 3 or 4 times the amount of employees. So if you look at all the restrictions, it'd be very little, a very small percentage of children that we could accommodate. So we're waiting to see if this pandemic starts to slow down and he opens these things up, to open it up the right way. If we set
Okay,
it in
but if
place
it's
right
an
now,
Okay, go ahead.
if
I'll
we
let you
set
go.
it in place right now, it's going to be very, very limited, and it's going to be very costly. So we're
Okay.
just waiting, and I think that April, latest May, we could still set it up as long as he lifts some of those restrictions.
Okay, so Executive Order 149 was lifted last July. So there were, so I don't think that, I don't know if you have the facts, because it says right there that it was lifted. So, and then I'm just confused. And listen, it like Sherry, I have children, but they're aged out. So I'm just like, again, I'm speaking on behalf of the other moms, and I wanna, that children are a passion of mine. I will do anything, and I would volunteer. I'll do anything to.
Believe me, I want to open up everything as much as you do. I really do. But I'm not going to go against the governor's orders.
But I don't think it's against the governor's orders if he lifted
We
that.
went over them all today. We went over them today. It
So how-
says,
The other.
what is it? Executive Order 149. So look
Yes,
at that
Executive
one.
Order 149, correct.
That was not lifted.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, so, we have, I don't think they're going to care, but we have, a petition already with over 300 signatures, and it's rising. I'm just confused, because are we limited, because it's mostly out, 80% of camp is outside, right? But we're not limiting beach badges, right?
But 80% of the camp was in Taylor Pavilion.
No, it wasn't. No. It was always outside. My kids went for the past 6 years, so it's always outside. I mean, if it rains, then it's in the Taylor Pavilion, but it's not. It's mostly outside. And then the kids are in school
How
5
do you
days.
make a plan? You have to plan for it, that it may rain.
I'm sorry, that it may rain. Okay,
You have to
then,
make a plan for that it might rain every
okay.
day.
Yeah, but they're indoors in school, so I'm confused. I know, like.
Well, the
so
schools are
everybody's
going in and
listening. I'm
out
just
as
the
COVID
mouthpiece.
comes in. Aren't the schools going remote and then back in and then remote again? I mean, because the strict guidelines that if anybody comes infected with COVID, everybody in that camp has to quarantine for 14 days. Camp is only 7 weeks. So,
Okay, then I guess that's a
and
chance
believe me,
that
I
think
want to
the moms
get,
are
I
willing
want to
do it.
get it in place as much as you do. I want this pandemic behind us.
Okay, but
faster than
so
you do.
all the other towns they're having all
I
their soccer
haven't seen
programs.
one other town. We looked,
My
we
kids go
checked
to
them
other
all.
towns, so I don't know what you're talking. Like Bradley Beach was open last year for their camp. Manasquan was open. Spring Lake was open. I mean, it's
Yes, and they
embarrassing.
all had it closed out because they all had COVID.
Did you read the letter that SEMA had sent out that the PTO was behind?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Okay. What is that? I have all the moms here. I'm sorry. I'm just a spokesperson, even though I'm probably not the best at it. But so indoor basketball at Wall is in play right now. And I know that for a fact that the governor lifted
Is
on
that the
February
Wall
11th,
School?
right?
Is
Yes.
that the Wall School? We have different regulations for camps
Okay, but okay,
than what
so
the school has.
okay, CDC just stated safe to have in-person school. Okay. So
The
if it's
school
safe,
is totally different than what our camps have to follow.
okay, but I know I said that. They're all I'm saying that the camp is 80% outside. So if it rains, then how about? Right, and can kids wear masks? Everybody's wanting an answer here. Like, we don't want to say, okay,
I
thank you.
can't
but
give you an
everyone-
answer tonight. I am not going to give you an answer tonight. If you want an answer, well, I'm not giving it to you. I said we're watching and we're working with the governor's office to see exactly what we could do this summer.
I know
If
that-
the cases are going down and if
But
he
how are
lifts
they-
some of the regulations, if we put it, I'm telling you right now, if we put it in place, we might be able to put 25 kids in there now. And that's it. So, and it has to be at different
But if you
stages for
put
different
35
ages.
Then, and there was 600, how many kids were in there? How was it? What is that?
It was 120.
Oh, there was 120.
Believe me, I want it as much as you. You could argue with me all night. You're not getting an answer tonight. You're
On it
not.
as, but in all due respect, Mayor, I don't think that you really do, because when I just
Do you
feel
want an
like,
answer tonight? As of right now, no, we're not having camps. Is that the answer you want me to give you?
that
As
what
of right now, we're not doing it.
I'm I voted for you. You were in my house. I had several people vote for you. I feel like we had that mayor's ball in September. When did the pandemic hit? It hit in March. That was 6 months. Why didn't we do something? I feel like because you have grown children and it's not pressing issue to you. I feel like it's on your back burner. Why aren't we?
No, it's not on our back burner. We
Well,
had the recreation director in
$4,000.
going over all this today. We had him in today going over all of it because I want this in place. Believe me, I want all of this in place.
Not just
This is Belmar. This is Belmar. Belmar has all these things.
but we have you be like it
But
feels like
if you keep pressing me for an answer tonight, I can't give you one.
Just
Until we work out all the logistics of it, I can't give an answer. We
So
are
you-
looking to have different programs for this summer.
you're
If
not
it's
gonna.
gonna be camp, if it's gonna be a basketball type of thing outside, if it's gonna be
Okay,
tennis.
I know.
So I cannot give you something tonight.
Now let me talk. Are you limited the beach badges that will be sold? Last year, it was like overwhelming. We had more, beach traffic than we ever had. So if
Our
I don't,
requirements for the beach are to make sure everybody's social distancing. We had drones up and we took care of that and we limited beach badges when we needed to limit them. There is apples and oranges what you're talking
oh,
about.
that's this guys. Okay. So they just don't care. I mean, and okay, so
It's
so
not
right
that I
now,
don't care. I just told you I want to open everything up.
you
It's,
could say
we have to,
that,
we still are in the middle of a pandemic.
okay, but the first 6 months was not a pandemic. So what happened then that we didn't do anything? What's our
What do you
plan?
mean 6 months we didn't do anything?
Okay,
I don't understand what you're talking about.
I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about if you give me a chance. We had the mayor's ball.
There was no
in
pandemic then.
December. Exactly. What did you do with the 24,000 for 6 months? Why didn't you?
It's still sitting there.
Why is it sitting there? We had six. Why didn't you do something in the first 6 months? What are you going to let it sit there till our kids are like 100? Why? Let's do. I want to know what we're doing with it. And I've asked hundreds of times, what are we doing with the money that I helped raise and that I put a great portion of money into for my children? I don't want them to age out. What are we doing with it? For the first 6 months, there was not a pandemic. And there was still like, I don't know. Well, let's get who's the committee? Who's going to decide what we're doing with that? And when are we going to decide?
You could make all the suggestions and we'll decide what to do with it. It's like, I was waiting for suggestions.
Really? Are
Suzanne gave us some good suggestions. So as soon as everything opens up, that's what we'll be doing.
Remember, I'm sure Ed Kirschenbaum told you that when I met with him and I had a list of things and I even sent him an email that he's bought.
Antoinette, we're getting off track here. You called in about the summer camps. This is totally different. I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. We've already been on this conversation for over 10 minutes. I am not, as of right now, we are not putting anything in place. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Club outside, because youth club was canceled. What if we just have like every Saturday night, have like a youth club outside? Open gym has been canceled. I mean, we need to get our kids doing some kind of program, some kind of activities. That's why we moved to this town. You know, we are all going out of town. My kids are involved.
Yes, Jim, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, I just listened to this conversation and, everybody's got COVID fatigue. Everybody is at wit's end. Everybody wants things to be back at normal. I work in healthcare. I work with seniors and I work with the disabled. And trust me, I understand the frustration that everybody has in this. I just like to say, as a councilman, I would like our municipality to return to normal. I would like to have the surf camp. I would like to have junior lifeguards. I would like to have the camps for the Belmar children that we've always had. But I've also seen the death and the suffering that this disease caused
and are the
a lot of people. And we certainly don't want to see that happen again. So, we've got to make sure this is safe. One of the things I think that was brought up in this conversation, which I think is really interesting, and is a very good point, is that schools have been dealing with this crisis since, the first case hit New Jersey on March 4th, I think, and the governor closed things down on March 13th of 2020. And they have become, I think, particularly when it comes to children, much more experts than a municipal government would be in, how to handle these and how to have safe classrooms and how to have safe playgrounds and stuff like this. I'm just throwing this out as an idea, listening to the conversation. I mean, I'm wondering if there's any way we can talk with or work with or partner with or get feedback from, the Belmar Elementary School. And, maybe they would be willing to do some programs. Maybe they could do it better and maybe they could do it safer. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking out loud here because I understand the frustration that people have.
Okay. So so everybody knows that I've already raised almost $40,000 personally for our Belmar basketball court for our school. Okay. And so we still need to raise another 25 grand. Well, we did raise 24 grand at the mayor's ball. And I said, could we put it towards that? And they said, well, that wouldn't be fair because we have another school in Belmar, St. Rose, which that's a private school. So I think we only have one school in Belmar. So that's great. Why don't we take those funds and put it towards our basketball court, which I've suggested several times. And then that would be an activity that I think our school, I'm on the board. I would like to, approach the board with that. And that could be one of our activities. And it's outside. See, you keep saying, like, you're letting all these beach goers come into our beach, but it's safe outside, social distance. Why can't we have our kids of Belmar, our kids, not other towns. And I am a business owner also. So, and we pay the taxes here. We're worrying about all the guests coming in for what? The businesses that are thriving from it? Because I didn't see there was no thriving on my end. So why are we allowing all these outsiders to come in when we pay taxes here and we're not taking care of our own children? And it's outside. It's outside. Let's take care of our children. We're not going to worry about other people.
Antoinette,
Yes.
may I speak to you for a minute?
Absolutely.
I can hear the frustration in your voice and everybody who's with you, and understand your frustration. As far as the basketball goes, the basketball courts, we have been talking to a group, and we're trying right now, we're in the midst of trying to put the basketball leagues back for the young kids over on 16th Avenue. We are working on that. I hope it's outdoors. I hope we can follow state guidelines and we can have basketball at least with them. The tennis courts are going to be done over. Kids can start playing tennis. It's not a group sport. Like two can play, or you can have a foursome, play doubles. We have that. It's just so frustrating. It's frustrating for me. I have friends with young children. I know what my grandchildren went through at the beach, and it's just a great place to be. And we want it to happen. It's so frustrating for all of us. And I hear what you're saying about visitors. Yeah, we're all kind of over it. And we are a little worried about what's going to happen this summer, if they're going to come on strong again, which I have a feeling they will. But yes, our children come first.
But we're
And we're going to do, Antoinette, we are going to do everything we can to get this open. And if we say maybe in April or in May, okay, let's go. That would be great. Right now, we're just treading on eggs.
That would be too late at that point. Like, how are you going to get the staff?
How are parents going to plan for their summer?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Okay, we're saying, how are we going to get it staffed so quickly? How are parents going to plan for the summer? I mean, we heard that you said to go to the other towns. That's what it came back to us. Like, don't, we're not going to supply it, but you go to some place, go to another town. But, and the parents are working, kids are in school. We need a place for our kids to go. And it's just, everybody on the board, unfortunately, doesn't have children. Like, it's just, to me, it's like disheartening to see that none of you have children that's not affecting you. You're going to go what's affecting you. And you know it. Again,
Internet, that's not true. That's not true. I have grandchildren. So maybe I don't have children. I have grandchildren. I have friends with small children. Internet, I understand completely what it is to have your kids home all summer. Camp is the best place for them. I get it.
Right. But do your grandchildren live in?
I don't want anything to happen to your kids. Do you?
Right. Well, of course not, but they're fine. I mean, that's outside. They're already doing everything. My kids haven't stopped. There's indoor sports. Because our outdoor soccer is outside, outdoor. We all are.
You got a lot of people talking, and I can't quite hear what you're pointing. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm the spokesperson here. But so all of our children, I have about 8 moms here right now. Okay. All of our children are in a sport out of town. So it's not like, it's just not our town that's not doing it. We're all in either Wall, Neptune, Manasquan, and Seagirt. And this is indoor and outdoor. So I'm embarrassed to say that I'm from the town who doesn't care about our children. And basically that's what I know you're all saying, we do care, but we're going to push it off. No, let's care and let's act on it.
I can't say any more, Antoinette. I'm not going to argue with you. I want to see camp open as much as you do.
Okay, so we're going to, I get it. I know that we don't want to take up any more.
There's a group of us here. It's not just me. It's not just the mayor.
And I respect and appreciate that. 2 more things I'm going to say, and then I'll stop. Okay. I want to know if we can revisit this with, so we're going to, we'll email you the petition. And I want to revisit this with, maybe you guys can have your own private meeting and we could come up with some more answers. Okay.
Good idea.
So we say, like, can we maybe revisit this in March 1st? Like, give you 2 weeks to because then that, especially like I'm like, again, my kids are they're aged out for camp. That's not an issue, but I'm still fighting for the other moms. Okay. But I want to see youth club, or what were they? The youth open gyms, after school youth clubs. Do you want to see our kids like being pot smoking losers, like, hanging out? Because we're not.
Antoinette, why don't we do that? Why don't we
Why
set
don't
up a meeting for March 1st?
Okay, I
Mark,
love
we
it.
have
Thank you
March
so
1st
much.
is the deadline for March 1st, the deadline for first aid. Why don't we make it the
Yes.
week after, and then we're
Okay,
clear
that's
and we
fine.
can
And then,
focus.
okay, just one more thing. I know that if it's a cost issue, there are so many, like I will volunteer all my time, anything. And then we have, just so you know, Brian, no. Not Erica, the other one, his husband, who always, Conklin. He has been volunteering his time for years doing the after school programs. It's important for these kids to have some place to go. So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind, that we have a lot of parents who are willing to volunteer. They just want to get their kids out there. It's not for babysitting. I don't need a babysitter. I'm not working. So it's not for babysitting. We need our kids to be together in a safe environment and with programs. So, okay. So if we could revisit back March, 6th, 7th?
Yeah, 6th to 7th. 7th is a Monday.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. One moment. Okay, going to Maria, standby. Go ahead.
Oh, hi, this is Maria, Ron Denaro, 1246 Pine Tree Way. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Great. I just wanted to state my support with Antoinette and other community members about summer camp and rec programs. I do understand wanting to give some time to plan out how to do that safely. So I'm really encouraged that you're going to have a meeting with Antoinette. I'm happy to be on that task force or meeting as well to find ways to do this safely. I'm encouraged that you said if we're able to do it, that we certainly are going to, which I think is great news, because pursuant to Executive Order 149, youth summer camps are permitted to open so long as they comply with governmental guidelines. And that might be what you have seen. It's about 11 pages long. I can send those to you if you would like.
We already have them. We were reviewing them today.
Good. I hope that, our schools, I agree with our Councilman McCracken and the fact that Belmar Elementary School has been doing a fabulous job. And the way that they've been doing it is, yes, if there is a class, they do have to quarantine. But the truth is that they're inside. Most of camp has been outside for these kids. And so I think that it's much safer even than an indoor program. And I'm sure that they can give you their expertise on their protocols. Also, I'm a licensed clinical social worker, so I've seen how the pandemic has affected everyone emotionally, psychologically, as well as physically. And I feel like we need to do our part in making sure, if we can do it safely, if there's a way, which if there's other towns that are making that possible, then we need to be able to do that as well. We need to put our kids as priority. According to the Attorney Surgeon General's report for suicide prevention last week, it says that action plans states that community engagement activities per peer norm programs are significant in suicide prevention. So this is really important. And I just stress that I think that we can, as a Belmar community, figure out creative ways to do this in a safe way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And going to Virginia, one moment, please. Virginia is using already. Cancel, one moment, please. Okay, it says, Virginia, that you are using an older version of Zoom. If you sign out and update Zoom on your computer, wherever you're at, that might help. So I can bring you back later if you try that. But right now you are not compatible. Sorry about that. Going to next person. I will lower your hand, Virginia, and you can try to come back. Going to Lenny, one moment, please. Go ahead. Leanne?
Yes,
Hi,
state your name and address, please.
Yes, Paul Olmec, 1406 16th Avenue. This question's for the mayor. I'm just wondering what specific aspects of the governor's orders pertaining to summer camps would you like to see rescinded in order for you to support moving forward? There's a lot of specific instruction on how they opened summer camps last year. So what are you looking at that would make it less costly, as you said earlier?
Well, if you read the whole plan, you have to set up a counselor with 10 students. You have to have groups within that group. You have to have a medical technician there, or that is controlling the group. So we normally have about 120 kids, and if we try to set it up right now, I think that we're talking about, with all the governor's orders, we'd be able to have like 25. So, we're hoping that before we make plans on opening anything and limit anything, that he loosens up the numbers are going down right now. He's opened up restaurants at 35% inside. So I think within the next 2 months, hopefully he's going to be loosening up some restrictions, and we could structure it around the loosened up restrictions. So, but we're looking at it. We were talking about it today, how we could do it, whether we were going to run a smaller camp down at McCleary Park and have it all outside, or how we were going to actually structure it. Even as far as junior lifeguard and all the programs. We have a running club that meets once a week. So all of these things, we're taking a look at. Believe me, I want to put them all back in place. We've heard a lot of talk tonight, and we can't circumvent the governor's orders. We have to work with whatever the governor's putting out there. We were just hoping by now that he would start to give us guidance. It was like last summer with opening up the beach. We didn't know till the very last minute that when we could open, and we were constant in contact with them. So, and we still are now. So we were hoping that by April earliest, and we could still set everything up with that timeline. As long as we have 6 weeks, we could get everything in place to open up. So that's what we're looking at.
All right. I'd just like to, thank Councilman McCracken for, seemingly being solution focused on this issue. I think there are solutions. So, if the governor's orders are walked back a little bit, as you just said, then, we should be able to expect summer camp for our kids this year. And then just, with all due respect, I just want to point out that, there's a lot of parents in this town that are very passionate about this issue, and our voters. And, if summer camp weren't to happen in Belmar this year, and all the surrounding towns have summer camps, I'd just like to say that, I'm sure you're aware it would absolutely become an issue of electability for you in the future. We are very passionate about this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, looking at my list. Going to Sherry. Go ahead.
Sherry Russo, 1218 Briar Road in Belmar. One quick thing I forgot to ask the last time I spoke, I'm sorry. My question is I've read the ordinance on snow removal, and I also reread a few times, even while we were on the call here, the code red. And I was wondering if it's possible to be a little bit clearer on whether or not you need to move your car during the snow removal? Like it says, if there is accumulation of snow, if the ordinance also says that we will go by code red. So the ordinance says we'll go by code red, and then the code red says if there is accumulation of snow. Now, I don't really know what that means, accumulation of snow. I mean, once the plow comes by, it's too late. So is it possible to state, I know the past administration used to state, move your car, you have to move it today. I was wondering if we could put that in the code red. I know that the storm is coming. Is that possible?
Chief?
I don't know.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'll talk to the chief about putting that in the code red.
Okay, thank you. And the second thing I wanted to say, upon listening to the people talk about the summer camps, and you talk about, you know, that you would have to have extra camp counselors there. I was wondering if that in any way possible, would that fall under the money that we would be able to apply for COVID? So for instance, last summer, I believe that we billed for different trash cans and different things that we needed for COVID due to being a beach town. And with this camp also, if we had to have, I don't know what you said, I believe it was one counselor per 10 people, would we be able to bill that under a COVID type issue because this is due to COVID and also because the camp is for middle-class families? That would be helping middle-class families who I'm sure are struggling at a time of COVID. I'm sure, you know, different families have someone who's unemployed and that it is a financial hardship to spend more money on a different camp.
Well, first of all, it looks like the COVID money has dried up. Second of all, it's not about the money. It's about how we could do it safely, how we can make sure our employees are protected, the kids are protected, and where this pandemic is going to be. And not one of us has a crystal ball to see where we're going to be at in the summer. You know, hopefully that with the vaccines, it's getting behind us. The numbers are going down. We're praying that the governor opens up a little bit, but we are already in talks about how to open up different scheduled programs like the basketball, where we have enough people down there to watch the activity going on, tennis. You know, the junior lifeguard is a good structured program. And, you know, we also want to look at the camp, but, you know, we also have to worry about, still consider that we are in this pandemic. And I want to do everything in our power to get back to where normal, where we have the children and all their activities for the summer, and we could open up Borough Hall again. But the biggest thing is we don't want to open up all these and have be the town that spreads COVID. So, you know, we're looking at last year. I know everybody talked about the beach and how crowded it was, and the one thing that I can say, when we got through the whole summer and not one of our employees were infected with COVID, even with all the people that were in town. So, and that's the thing that other towns cannot say. A lot of their junior programs, there was a lot of people infected. They had to close them down. So we are definitely looking at the health aspects of it. But I want to get back as soon as we can to having all these programs back in place.
Of course, I understand that. Some of the things you said are contradictory. Perhaps it would be possible if you could maybe check and see, or I don't know if that is a specific council member under their duties of committee to check and see whether or not the COVID money is dried up, whether or not that would be applicable. I think that you know, it's a very important issue, you know. I think that, you know, this year is not going to be the same as last year for the summer. I mean, we can see that. We see the amount of vaccinations. We see vaccinations coming in. We see things opening up more, you know, and I just feel that this is a awful situation, you know, to say probably the money has dried up. I'm not a big one for probably, you know.
Well, all I can tell you is this. that we can't put any more in. So hopefully we get some more money. It would be nice to get some more money, but right now, we can't put anything in.
No, my
So
question,
unless there's that the Monmouth County opens it up that we could put in some more money for COVID relief, we certainly will do that. But as of right now, we don't see anything coming this way with any kind of COVID money.
all right, I do hope this gets resolved. I think this is another awful situation that's going on in town. And, you know, I feel that, you know, I mean, every week I think that maybe there's nothing to talk about at council meeting, but here we go on and on. Thank you all for your time.
Well, it's February 16th and we have some time still.
Okay.
Okay. Sherry, are you through?
Can
Okay.
you hear me?
Are you done, Sherry? I'm sorry.
Can you hear me still?
Yes, I still hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay, thank you. I
Thank you.
had said that before, but I guess it didn't come through.
Just making sure. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank
All right, stand by. And we're going to try Virginia again. Let's hope we got her now. Stand by. Virginia, are you there?
Yes, I think I'm here.
You're there.
Yes,
All right.
go ahead.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Virginia Conklin. I live on 1219 Oakwood Road.
Go ahead.
Okay, yet I'm another mom calling in, and I know you're probably over this, and I hear you. I completely am understanding what everyone is saying. However, my frustration comes because I feel, and this is obviously only my opinion, my feeling, that the kids' activities have been slacking before COVID. I don't even want to talk about, oh, we can't do this because of COVID. We have not, the ski trip was undone. But nobody wanted the ski trip. Beautiful, beautiful memories and happenings for kids in our, and you know this town, some of the kids, that's their only shot at going somewhere. That was shot down. We barely could have a baseball team. We had to go to another town to play baseball. It's like, for me as a mother of two young kids here, I feel like this town doesn't want to have any kid activities. I'm hearing what you're saying. I hear everybody's, yes, we do care. Yes, I have kids. Yes, I have grandkids. But your actions do not show that. So that's where I think my frustration is coming in to. I grew up in this town. I had all the things, all the beautiful, beautiful things that kids are supposed to have in towns. And I don't think that that's happening in our town. And I feel like now we're going to use COVID as the excuse. I'm not even want to talk about the camp. I hope that the camp goes through for the people that need the camp. As Antoinette said, my kids are also aged out of that. I want to see how about movies on the beach? What happened to that? We couldn't have, and this was before COVID. The screen broke and we didn't have enough money to have a new screen, or some crappy excuse was given for that. We don't have movies on the beach. The Taylor Pavilion, I get, maybe we don't want kids there for the camp. That's how I feel like this is going. I feel like, and I just would love for everybody to just be honest and just be like, guess what? We can't have a camp, because my feeling is that in April and May, when we go back to revisit this, we're going to stand by the governor's code of no, we can't have it. We can have 9 bazillion people on the beach, which I'm one of those beach goers, so I'm not opposed to that. But it just doesn't make sense when we say that and we can't have activities for children. My husband is actually one of the volunteer dads, which there's millions of them, so I'm not looking for any accolades here, but he's one of the volunteer dads that go and help Barry at Open Gym. So we're parents that want our kids to be able to do stuff. And I hear that you're saying that you want that too, but like I said before, your actions are not showing it. Your actions are just not showing it. And listen to me, and I can bet my life when the meeting is over, we're going to be talked about as just these moms who want to come on here and bitch. And that's not it at all. We just actually want to live in the town that we chose to raise our kids in and have stuff for them going on. So if we could be on the beach at 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday, why can't we have movies on the beach on Saturday? Like, some things just don't make sense. So when I come back on March 7th, we said, whatever, the 8th, I would like to hear reasons that make sense, not just, oh, because of COVID. Oh no, we can't do that because of this. We had drones going over to make sure it was social distance. Like, I go to 11th Avenue Beach. There was definitely very, very little social distancing. Okay. So, it's very frustrating. The surf camp offered to have it. No surf camp. Couldn't have surf camp. I mean, it's just all the things. And like I said before, I think this was happening before COVID. It's almost like, oh, well, you know what? And where is the money though? Where is the money that was raised? I went to half of the events that Antoinette had and we put money towards it. So where did that money go? Like what are we doing with all the rec money? Where does that end up going to? If we can't have all these activities, where does it go?
I can't answer that. The CFO could answer that for you. I believe it's just sitting in surplus.
Okay, so, you know, and great. Listen, I'm very happy. You know, Pat Wan said that we have a tennis thing coming. We have possible basketball. Okay, so that's all beautiful, beautiful things. But I mean, we don't have a baseball team. Like, I just want you guys for a second to think about how it just sounds like my son has to go play soccer in Neptune. My other son is playing basketball in Long Branch, baseball in Long Branch. Like, there are programs that are doing it. So I'm just so confused as to why we can't do it. Yes, limited. Okay, so right now, if you did the camp and only 25 kids can go, then that's the understanding that the parents have to have. Then only 25 kids can go. Why can't we do that? You're gonna
No, that is one of our options that we're going to be, if nothing changes, that's going to be one of our options to open that up to 25 kids. Or whatever we can fit in safely, that's what we're going to do. We didn't put anything in place because we were hoping that we could do more than that. We usually have about 120 kids that go to camp, and I'm not sure how many go to junior lifeguard, but we were talking with the rec director for the past couple of days and seeing what we could open up and how we could do it safely. So we're working on it. But, you know,
I just want to tell you guys, you know what? I feel like this is like an issue now that's not going to go away. So it's going to be hard to just say, you know, keep saying the same thing over. And then I feel like if you know anything about moms, moms usually don't let stuff go. So I just hope that and listen, you know what? If the parents can help and you need volunteers, we're also here for that too. Because I think we're a group of parents that live in this town that definitely will step up to the plate. We're not asking you to do stuff and pay for stuff. And obviously all the activities we would pay for, you know, so I don't think it should be a money issue. I mean, what do I know? But I feel like it shouldn't be a money problem. We're all willing to pay and to volunteer and, you know, and I get it. We are still in the middle of a pandemic. I completely understand that. But then I'm saying that and I'm looking at all the other towns doing all the other things and it just, you know, it's very, very frustrating. It's, you know, and I hope you can understand, like, that's where the frustration comes from. We're not trying to call you to annoy you and to make this meeting go on till midnight. It's just, it's very, very frustrating.
For all of us.
Yeah. Well, okay. I can't agree with that because I just, you know, and listen, you guys have other things to do. I get it. There's other stuff on the agenda. There's other stuff on the plate that may be more important than this. But, you know, for us, this is what is important, our family and why we live in the town. I mean, it's the reason why we live here. That's it, I guess. I don't know, because no one says, and that's the other thing too, is like no one says anything. So I guess that's just it. But
I know you're venting. I don't know how. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
I'm not listening. Guess what?
I've explained. I explained the situation, and we're going to meet on the 7th, and we're going to see if we can work something out. And hopefully by the 7th, we have some loosened up executive orders by the governor.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Virginia.
Thank you so much. All right. I am looking at my list. And Mr. John McGuire. It's our John McGuire, possibly. Stand by.
Yeah, I hit the hands up button by accident. Sorry.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
I'm here to answer any public works questions, though.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll keep you on standby. Thank you. One moment, please. Okay. Looking at my list. Kelly, stand by. Go ahead, Kelly.
Hi, this is Kelly Lang, 301 19th Avenue.
Kelly.
Can you hear me? Hi.
Yes.
I just want to commend you guys for trying to do things legally and safely for the residents of the town. I'm a teacher, I'm a parent, and COVID is no joke. And I am very upset that we are still in this pandemic. I've been quarantined several times. My children have been quarantined several times. And I hope that we can do something with the kids, but I appreciate the fact that you guys are taking this seriously. This is absolutely no joke. We're all frustrated. And I think if you look at what other towns are doing, that's great. Other towns have cases. Other towns are closing down. And I really, really appreciate that you are looking to the safety of our children, because that is what's really important. And I just wanted to say thank you and thank you.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you so much. Stand by. And next is Na, coming up on Na. And stand by. Na, are you there? We'll give Zoom just a moment.
Hello.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, name and
Hi.
address, please.
This is Seema Bowl. I'm at 112 Inlet Terrace and 2 Inlet Terrace.
Okay.
I just
Go
wanted
ahead.
to talk about camp as well. I know many people have raised it tonight. I just wanted to start with Mayor Mark. What is your vision for the town? What is the legacy you want to leave behind? What is it that you stand for?
I'm not sure I understand the question. The thing that we're trying to do right now is trying to get this through this COVID and trying to keep everybody safe. As far as the legacy, I'll let you know when we come out of this pandemic.
So it's just about the pandemic.
Well, right now it is. I mean, everybody's frustrated. The council's frustrated. All of our employees are frustrated. It's a tough time for everyone.
Yeah, and multiple of my
we're
family
trying
members,
to.
unfortunately, have had COVID, so I have firsthand experience of how unfortunate and how terrible this is. But there are ways to continue to operate, as we have multiple people have raised tonight. Every single neighboring town, every single one that has a recreation program has found a way to be agile and operate, except for Belmar. And so that's why I asked, and I started with the question, what do you want to be known for? Do you want to be a leader? Or do you want to be someone who's known to take the easy road out? That's my question to you.
I'm not taking the easy way out, but I'll tell you what, I adhere to the governor's orders. I mean,
but it was
we're gonna do what we need to do.
Lying, and I don't think anyone believes
okay,
you
all right.
because.
Well, if that's what you're going to call me, then this conversation is done.
Okay, well, the other question I have for you is, what are the plans for Taylor Pavilion? I know you have an RFP out for this year for that Merrymakers can't do it anymore. Are you planning to have events there this summer? Because if you're not planning to have indoor events,
I will answer this before you call me a liar again.
Canceled because of the issue with the COVID. I mean, I don't see how you could really have any events there.
The RFP is for the Cruise Bay Cafe. It's not for the Taylor Pavilion.
Right, but they had the private events inside as well. As you know, their weddings there on the weekends.
Well, they're not there anymore.
Okay, so their plans for this summer are to have no indoor events?
I have no idea. When we figure out who's going in there, then we'll decide what they're going to be doing. Right now, there's an RFP. Merrymakers is out, and the RFP is for Cruise Bay.
Okay, and my other question is, why are programs like Junior Guards or Summertime Surf, which are all entirely outdoors, why are they deemed unsafe under COVID during COVID? I just don't understand based on what you're saying. It's all about indoor being unsafe.
You're talking
These are
about what
entirely
happened last
outside.
year. You were talking about last year.
Right. So
and
why is it this year they're not operating?
We had no idea where this pandemic was going.
Yeah, now you do, which is awesome.
We didn't even know what if we were going to be allowed to open up the beaches until the last minute. So.
But you did. And you know what? We had record number of tourists. So you can figure it out when it comes to the beach traffic and how to make the beach work. But you simply can't figure it out for our kids.
I don't know how to answer that. We told you we're having a meeting on March 7th. If you were
Okay, and
listening
I'd love
the
to be
meeting.
part of the task force, so I will stay tuned. What I think would be great is if you guys could come to that meeting with a few different operating scenarios of what it would take to successfully run programs for all of these families that have spoken up today, and that will continue to speak up every day until the summer begins, unless something is changed. And like Virginia before me said, you can get away for the next 3 or 4 months pretending that these are the reasons you're not doing these programs are because of COVID.
All right,
But what
we're
happens
pretending.
next year?
Okay, we're done. John, we're done with this conversation. We're pretending now. So there's no need to talk to you anymore.
Stand by. Okay, stand by. And we're going to Mr. Bufusco. Go ahead.
Jerry Buckafusco, 409 Fifth Avenue. I'd just like to say that on the camp issue, here's the frustration of all of the mothers and ultimately of the children in the town about the camp issue. And what I've been hearing going back and forth is, I won't call them excuses, but reasons that go from there are safety issues and then there are resource issues. And then there are safety issues and then there are resource issues. Well, I'm staring at Executive Directive number 20-021 from Judy Pacelli, Commissioner of Health. And it lays out its COVID-19 childcare and youth summer camp standards pursuant to Executive Order number 149. That document lays out what has to be done to safely run a camp, okay, from the Department of Health. So, and there's also one out there from the Centers for Disease Control. All right, so the health and safety issue is really not an issue if one follows the guidelines, okay? We can wait to the end of time for the governor to issue an additional order or to waive an additional order, but we don't need to because we have this executive directive that states how we can do this safely. So safety is not an issue, all right? Then we get to resources, and I think that has to do with what the camp might look like. And I think it's probably practical to say that any camp may not look like what past camps look like, either due to restrictions on the number of children that can be involved, or maybe they will. It all depends. But I think the frustration I hear in parents is that, and the moms especially, is that there's really an impression of a lack of effort on the part of the administration to make this work. Okay, I hear, again, safety, resources, but people want to know that everything is being done that can be done as far as analyzing what kind of camps we can have. And we're not seeing that. All we're seeing are statements from you, Mr. Mayor, that it's not going to be done until the governor, changes some of his.
Well, I guess you weren't listening, Mr. Butterfusco, because I did not say that. I said that in a month's time, if we're going to set these camps up, we're going to set them up to the guidelines. So I guess you were not listening very well, because that is what we are waiting for. Is he going to loosen them up, or are we going to set these programs up to the guidelines, which will be very few limited children compared to what we have? So obviously you weren't listening.
Okay, well, the sad thing is that.
I know it's a sad thing, and you're going to browbeat us, and go ahead. Just keep
I'm just
going.
saying that.
I listened to it all tonight. I listened to it. We have a meeting on March 7th. If March 7th comes around, we will set it up right to the guidelines, and that's what we're going to do. But we were hoping that we could have, instead of setting it up, he would loosen up some of the guidelines so we could allow more children in. But comes March 7th, if that's what it is, we're going to set these programs up according to the guidelines. That's what we're going to do.
May I speak?
Can I ask a question here?
May I speak now? Anyone?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The point I was
I never
trying to
stopped
make
anybody
is,
yet.
now may I speak?
Go ahead.
The point I was trying to make was that unfortunately that meeting came out of all of the discussion that occurred tonight. Would it not have been better for the council to have had a work session, a presentation on what could and could not be done under the guidelines? Yes, it would have meant somebody would have had to do a little work to figure out, you know, what kind of camp can we?
All right. So you're a mind reader now. Now you're going to let me speak.
Interrupting me again.
I don't care I'm interrupting you because we've been working on it. So in other words, you have a crystal ball to see what goes on inside of Borough Hall. Since you want to make all these accusations against us that we don't care, we don't work, we
I
don't
never
have
said
the
you didn't
resources.
care.
I said, you have no idea what goes on in here and now you're grandstanding politically. So go ahead.
I'm not grandstanding.
Sure
What
you
I'm saying
are.
is that
Of course
people
you
would
are.
People would like to see what kind of analysis can go on. What are the possibilities?
I work with our recreation director and everybody that is involved to set, we're looking at everything to set these things up. Now you want to just keep going on it and bringing it all out again and bringing it all out again. I get it. Go ahead. It's political. Go ahead. Make your big platform stand.
Well,
Mr.
if you wanted to be transparent, you would have done this stuff.
I know. Let's go back to
public,
transparent.
not behind the scenes like you always do things, right?
Today is February 16th.
Isn't that right? Keep
Mr. Buck-
interrupting me and I'll keep talking.
Sir, may I say something?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Everybody take a deep breath. The mayor has been baited for over an hour. He's been called a liar. And I was called a liar a couple of months ago, so I understand what that's about. You may think, and many others may think, that they haven't done enough fast enough. But you don't know the whole story. But in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it's going to be, at one of the ladies' suggestions, you're going to sit down and explore with them what the options might be, and hopefully there'll be another executive order to loosen the strings a little more. Nothing else can get done tonight. So my suggestion is that those who have been baiting him, calling him a liar, saying the same thing probably like 10, 12 times now, let's just, God knows the council has heard you. Let's just wait a week or two. It's certainly enough time before June or July to get things straight and meet with the selected group and go from there. There's nothing else can be done tonight. And I think this horse is well dead. You can't keep beating this horse anymore. So that's my suggestion. It's not legal. It's just for somebody who doesn't live in Belmar, but doesn't believe that some people, not you, sir, some people haven't been fair in some of their comments tonight.
Well,
hey, Jerry.
My point. Go ahead.
Mr. Bonifusco. I can tell you that we deal with this daily and weekly in regards to the guidelines and the safety of our children. If you remember what happened last year, Manasquan had to close down. They had to go to social media because they had a huge spike in COVID cases. Other towns in the surrounding area had junior lifeguard programs. Their employees and their kids got infected. There's daily findings of problems with COVID in children as this pandemic continues. All we're trying to do, and I think Ms. Lang said it eloquently, that we care about the safety of our children. What's worse than having a program in Belmar is a child or somebody else dying from COVID because of us not crossing our T's or dotting our I's. We have every guideline in front of us. We look at everything that the governor's put out, the CDC, the Board of Health, and we're working diligently to try to get this program up and running safely. If people want to talk about that the camp is outside, if it rains, the camp is in Taylor Pavilion. It's almost impossible with young children to practice social distancing in a huge room in Taylor Pavilion. So we have to have contingency plans. If in fact a child or a counselor catches COVID, we have to quarantine for 14 days. That means that a 7-week program, we have to shut the program down that people paid for 7 weeks. How do we explain that we have to bring in a whole new group of counselors to try to salvage the program? So if everybody wants to just take a breath, we're talking about the safety and security of our children, the well-being of our children. And that's why the recreation programs have not taken place, because of the proximity inside of its closed gym. We know that the summer camp is outside on the beach, but if it rains 4 days out of the 5 days, those children will be inside and unable to practice social distancing. We're trying to get ahead of this. We're trying to be safe. And I'm sure you can agree with me that one child gets sick, or a counselor gets sick, or a volunteer gets sick, or a first responder gets sick on something that we didn't follow through with the guidelines. That's a lot worse morally, ethically, and emotionally than people not being able to go to camp. So we're trying to do it methodically. We're trying to do it pursuant to the guidelines. We're trying to make sure there's no liability on our end. And I think that cooler heads have got to prevail and allow us to do what we have to do safely.
And can I just say, I agree with you 100%.
Thank you, sir.
And that's all I was trying to say. If you can run a program accordance to the guidelines, then you're doing everything you can to protect the children. My point is only that if you're going to start analyzing what can be done, it's great to have a meeting, okay? My suggestion would be, though, that why can't that meeting be done in public so that the entire town can see what's going on? It could be done in a work session.
What happens when you have a public meeting such as this, people's emotion get involved, and they're not thinking scientifically or by what the facts are or what the guidelines are. We know what the guidelines are. It's easy for somebody to say that we don't care about a summer program or the baseball or basketball. The woman stated that there's no baseball. Well, there's no baseball because there's not enough children that want to play baseball anymore. That's one of the problems that our recreation director had. There's a group of towns that get together for soccer because there's not enough kids from the Belmar, Lake Como area that are out into playing those types of sports. Life has changed dramatically because of the pandemic. We're trying to do everything we can. We meet with our recreation director. We've had nothing but meetings about summer camp and all the other things that we have. I'd like to have the availability to sit down and critique every single thing every single day. But there are real problems with real action and real situations going on a daily basis in our borough. We're trying to fix the ills of the past, and we're trying to get through our first aid squad. There's a lot of things that are going on, and we just don't, we take it all to heart. We're doing it for the right reasons. We appreciate comments, but if you want to sit down here and talk about doing this out in public, emotion gets in place rather than logic. And we're trying to do it logically, by the book, with limited liability. And first of all, we want our kids and our counselors and our employees safe. And God forbid one of these children or somebody else gets violently sick or dies because we were not responsible enough and we listen to emotions rather than doing things the proper way, based on science, based on the CDC, and based on health.
Well, if you're not going to do it the proper way, or if you don't think you can do it the proper way, then it shouldn't be done. Obviously.
Exactly right.
But so, that's where I stand on that. My only point is, though, and you hit the nail on the head, you're doing a lot of work with the recreation director. You have a lot of information. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of concerns, right? But me, as a member of the public, I don't know that. How would I know that?
Can you still hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes, I can.
Okay. If we were to sit here and go through what we do on a daily basis, there'd be no time for us to do anything but listen to pros and cons of a different situation. The mayor and council are elected to do what they can for the town and make the right decisions for the town. We have, and I say it all the time, and it upsets people, and I apologize for that, but there's some issues that we're trying to clean up that need to be cleaned up. There's all kinds of issues on a daily basis that have to be cleaned up here. So we're spending a lot of time on a lot of different issues. We try to be, we're as transparent as we have to be. We know there's an issue with the camp, but we want to do it the right way, the safe way. We want to do everything in the best interest of the taxpayers of Belmar. And to, continue with the amount of people that came to the beach. We're not stopping tourists from coming to our town. You can't build a gate around Belmar. We have a plan in place for the social distancing aspect. The public trust doctrine says that. There are towns now that are being ridiculed by the media because they tried to limit the badge sales. We chose not to do that. We chose to abide by what the law and the legal aspect of what we have to do here in town is. So we are doing what we have to do for our residents, for our taxpayers, within the confines of the law. And it's an ongoing battle. We have a lot of dedicated employees here in town that continue to work on it. And if we were trying to get involved with every situation publicly, we would not get anything done. There are hard decisions that have to be made. And that's why the mayor and council are elected. That's why the people work in this town, they have to make these decisions. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
I think, though, it would go a long way to have the public understand what's going on. If, for example, perhaps maybe a different department head each month during a work session would just give a report as to what's going on. Maybe next month it's the recreation department head, where he or she could say, this is what we're working on, this is what we're doing. Right, and maybe the next month it'll be the DPW head. Maybe the month after that, it'll be someone else or the CFO. All I'm trying to say is that the more information that you can get out, and it doesn't have to be in a forum of a meeting, but even if it's just a presentation, people will get the feeling that something is being done. Because from what I'm hearing from you is that things are being done. But obviously, and I've said this before at the council meeting, we have a very small window into our local government. This is one of them here tonight. And, and what else do we have but what we talk about here? So if more information were forthcoming, you could probably forestall a lot of these comments that are being given at meetings because of people not understanding what, the situation is.
Unfortunately,
only
I agree
point.
with you. Unfortunately, though, the mayor talked about the summer camp and the workshop, but because there's people on this forum with agendas, no matter what the mayor and council says, no matter what I say, people that are agenda driven will continue just to belittle or disbelieve or not really understand what we're trying to say because it doesn't fit their agenda. I can tell you that we're working on things that are measurable since we took office in January 1st of 2019. I hope to have that soon that we will present at a council meeting, but we're trying to get things out there and trying to make it as informative as possible. And I appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Because of the hour, if anybody is going to talk about the camps or we've talked about it for over an hour now, and I'm sure people still want to make comments. If you have a question for the council, we'll take that under consideration. But if you're just going to keep continuing on this, we're not going to take any more questions on this. Go ahead, John.
All right, stand by. One more. For now, go ahead.
Now he's dismissing everyone. Hello?
Yes.
Hi, this is Seema. I just wanted to say, I didn't mean to get emotional when I spoke before. I want to publicly apologize for calling you a liar. I know you're doing the best you guys can do under these conditions. We are just hopeful that your intentions are for all of us and to lead by example and to take care of this community. I do not think asking a mayor of a town what his vision for the town or what his legacy is intended to be should be a difficult question. So I just wanted to leave on that note. I apologize for the emotion. Ed, you had very excellent points. People are very emotional about this topic, but there were a lot of facts that were delivered to all of you in that letter, including the fact that the executive order about summer camps has been in place since last year to allow camps and activities.
Okay, I'm going to end it right here because I just said, we've heard you.
No problem. I just wanted
We've
to
heard you.
apologize.
We've
Thank you
heard
for
everybody here
everything you've
tonight.
done. Good night.
Thank you very much. Stand by, I got one more. And Carol, when you're ready, stand by.
Carol Moore, 1206 Oakwood Road. Ed, I want to thank you for talking so calm, cool, and collectively just now. And I basically agree with you 99% of what you said. The only thing I would suggest, and I'm not getting specific on anything, but if there's a hot topic in town, if at one of these meetings, like the councilmen have each of their committee reports, if a small report, a 5-second report could be said, we are working on the summer camp. These are our ideas so far. We are making more progress, et cetera, then maybe we won't get as many excited people who don't have the information when they call in. If a report was made, this is what we're working on. We know it's a hot topic in town, and these are some of the ideas we're pushing around. I have a feeling we wouldn't get as many such excited comments after that on that hot topic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And seeing no hands.
April?
Got to give reports.
Can I have a motion to close the public session and adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us.